Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Perez. I hope you're well and your family's well and you're working really hard. I was taking Balto for a walk last night and we ran across a neighbor's house, and in the window they had these cute little rainbows. They had these little rainbows in the window. And then I saw on the news that a lot of the young people in Philadelphia were putting up rainbows, and they had like a little rainbow scavenger hunt going on in the neighborhood with different rainbows on the window and rainbows on the sidewalk. So I thought it would be a fun idea, fun thing to maybe color or marker or paint up a rainbow and stick it in the window for my neighbors, just to keep everyone happy and positive. And it's a good day to do it. Today is actually, it's raining out, so we're kind of inside. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to maybe get together and work on a rainbow. Okay, let's get started on creating our rainbow. So whenever we create something, we use a process, and this is, I think, one of the best processes to use or ways to do it. We first ask ourselves about what we want to create, and we find out about it as much as we can. What do we already know, and what do we need to find out? So with my rainbow, what I want to know is what it looks like. I'm making a picture of one. So I want to know what it looks like. Now, we all kind of know what it looks like, but I want to know specifically what order the colors should be in. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of research and find that out. Okay, so for our first step for ask, I wanted to know what a rainbow actually looks like and the order of the colors in a rainbow. So I found this really cool picture or photograph from Jasper National Park, and it has this beautiful vibrant rainbow, and you can see the colors on the outside. Top part of the rainbow is red, then we have orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo, which is another shade of blue, darker shade of blue, and then our last color on the inside of the rainbow is violet. So that was a very useful tool for seeing what an actual rainbow looks like. And then the internet, and I saw some of those pictures that some of the students or some of the children did in Philadelphia. So here's one that was painted on canvas that's hanging on a door. Here's one that was drawn on the sidewalk in sidewalk chalk. That's a temporary one. There's a little one that looks like it was done in marker. Little fish in the sky, that's funny. Here's one. I kind of like this one. This was different strips of paper that were colored with crayons and then stapled together. I like it because you can still see through the window. So I think I'm going to do something similar to that. This one was like a collage with a little paper chain link. That's kind of neat. Little collection. This one's funny. This one, they did a big head of their cat in both the windows with little rainbows. So that was funny. And there's our sample again. Okay, so we're ready for our next step. The next step is the planning part. So ask. We asked what we knew about rainbows. What did we want to find out, which was the order of the colors. Imagine the different ways we could do it. Paint it, marker it, color it with crayons. I'm going to paint mine. I've decided. And now we're going to plan it out. Okay? So the window that I want to put it in, put the rainbow in, is about 34 inches across and 60 inches down. So it's a pretty big window. It's over my garage. It's on the top of the house, like the second floor. So hopefully people will be able to see it and be cheered up by it and inspired by it as they get their daily exercise walking through the neighborhood. Okay, so that's the size of it. I'm only going to do a partial rainbow like that sample. I think it's going to come down this way. And I think I might have just like a fluffy cloud at the bottom. Probably do it in 2 parts. Okay. So it's about like that. Just pencil it in. Get an idea. So the top part, the top color, is going to be red. So I'm just going to put that in with a little marker. Doesn't have to be perfect, just planing it. So I don't need to use all my marker up. Just the red color is the first one. Next color is orange. Color that in. It's just going to remind me what order I'm going to paint it in. Kind of what it'll look like in the window. Next was yellow. Some yellow marker. Now if you're coloring it with crayon, you can use the same order here. I think all the samples we saw too were in the correct order, so people are doing their research. Next color is green. This is kind of a dark green. Probably use a medium green paint if I have a nice green. I think I have more paint than markers and crayons. Next color is the blue and then the indigo blue. So they're both blues. So I'm just going to use blue. Just going to do 1 stripe of blue. If I have an indigo blue, I'll maybe add it to the painting part. Okay, and last color is purple. Okay, and my cloud is going to be white, but I'll probably maybe outline it in either like a gray or a blue, just to make it pop a little bit, look fluffy. And that's my rainbow. That's the plan of my rainbow. Okay. Okay, so now that we have our plan to follow, we can start creating our rainbow. Okay, so I have this yellow paper. That's going to work because I'm going to paint it, so the yellow won't really compromise the paint color at all. So I have my sample up here, and I'm just going to follow it. I have an extra piece for the cloud, so I can actually make this whole sheet the rainbow. So I'm going to start up here just in pencil, just nice and light. Just going to make the shape of my rainbow. I'm going to take up the whole piece of paper. I want it as big as possible. Big as possible. So that'll be my red. Okay, so we have our paint colors here. We have, we're getting our supplies together. We have red, orange, yellow, green, a blue. This is cobalt blue, close enough to indigo. And we have violet. Remember, really, all you need for your rainbow, if you don't have all these paint colors, is red, yellow, and blue. That's all you need. Maybe some white if you want to lighten it up a little bit. That's not a color though. These are your primary colors, these 3 colors. So red and yellow, if you mix those together, you're going to get a nice little orange. Okay, that's a secondary color. If you mix yellow and blue together, you're going to get a green. Okay, and for the violet, we bring our red around. Blue and red gives you purple or violet. Okay. Now for a lighter blue, you would mix some white in. Okay. So
they're the only 3 colors you really need for your rainbow if you don't have a lot of paint colors. But fortunately, like I said earlier, I have a lot of paint. So I had all these paint colors, all the paint colors that I need to use in my rainbow. So I'm not going to be mixing paint today, although it is fun. It is fun to mix paint. So you can experiment on your own, mixing red and yellow and blue together and see what you get. Okay, so that's for another day. So for a palette, and this is a palette here. This is a palette that I didn't clean very well. There's a palette, has all different compartments. So that's a palette that I used for heavy acrylic paints that don't clean up as well, especially if you let them dry out a little bit. So maybe I'll let that soak later. I use these little containers for, you know, lunches or whatever. They're little, you can recycle them sometimes, not always. These make great palettes. I really like them. So I use those a lot. You can also, if you wanted to keep them separate, you could use an egg carton. I'm not going to use my egg carton today. But they're pretty useful for a bunch of things other than holding eggs. So we're just kind of letting that dry. It's a little wet. All right, so I'll probably use these for my palette. And here are some brushes. You can use a hair end brush, or you can use a sponge end brush. Either one would work. I might use a combination of both. So I'm going to get my paint ready and get started painting my rainbow. Okay, so here's my rainbow. Turned out to be, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to cut it out. I'm just going to cut out the rainbow part. There's my sample up there. So I think that's pretty close to what my sample is. Pretty big. I have to do the clouds next. I'm going to do the clouds. Here are my paint trays, which I have to clean out soon before they dry up and look like that one. It's funny how the warm colors are in one tray and the cool colors are in the other tray. Our warm colors are yellow, orange, and red. They make us feel nice and warm inside. And blue and purple and green are cooler colors. Even though green's kind of tricky. Sometimes I feel like green could be a warm color because, you know, it's the color of plants and plants grow in the warmth, but it is a cool color. So we'll be cleaning those out. That's the, you know, that's part of a project, is cleaning out your supplies or your trays and your brushes and taking care of your things. Okay, so we'll be cleaning those out, and I'll be finishing up the cloud, working on the cloud, finishing that up, and we'll let that dry and be almost ready for installation. All right, so here's my finished rainbow. I did improve it a little bit. The cloud was a little too big for the window that I was putting it in, so I kind of trimmed the edges of the cloud a little bit. So I did improve it a little bit before I hang it up. Here's the design. So that's pretty close. Alrighty, we're all done. There it is, hung up in the window. I think it looks pretty good. It is still raining out here, so it'd be nice if we actually saw a real rainbow at the end of this. So I had a lot of fun with you all today, making our rainbow and planning it out and finding out about rainbows and the different colors, and I hope you join me again. And I hope you make a rainbow and hang it in your window. Maybe I'll drive by on my way to grab some groceries or some necessaries and check it out. Okay? All right. Take care, everyone.